My name is Miranda Ratti and I'm here at the Maisto I Associati booth at the 73rd IFA Congress in London. I'm joined now by Jonathan SCHWARZ from Temple Tax Chambers. Jonathan, great to have you with us. Now, we're going to be discussing the impact of Brexit on the UK corporate system. And I want to start by asking you, is hard or soft Brexit changing the tax climate in the UK?
A hard Brexit, which would involve leaving the EU without a withdrawal agreement, means that EU law ceases to apply immediately. The government has already set aside more than £6 billion to fund the cost of preparation for that Brexit. The UK's Office for Budget Responsibility estimates that the additional cost of borrowing to the UK per year will be about $30 billion. The result of that is that those amounts together equal about 65% of the UK corporate tax take. And what you can see from this is that the one consequence of a hard Brexit will be the potential either for significant increases in tax to pay for the expenditure which will have to be incurred, or perhaps in addition, we might see a more aggressive approach to tax administration by HMRC.
And in the case of a soft Brexit, are you expecting any change to the withdrawal agreement?
So a soft Brexit implies departure from the EU with a withdrawal agreement. The effect of the withdrawal agreement is really to defer the consequences of departure from the EU until a final agreement is reached. The agreement which has been negotiated so far has been rejected by the UK Parliament, and it seems unlikely that the EU would be prepared to negotiate a different agreement. The focus of the UK government at the moment is the Irish border backstop, and that is not something that the EU is prepared to negotiate, so that is unlikely to change. Now, taxation is not really dealt with in much detail in the withdrawal agreement, so it directly doesn't have a great deal of effect, and therefore, in a way, the differences between a hard and a soft Brexit from a corporate tax point of view are going to be very similar.
And will Brexit change the attraction of the UK for hosting listed companies or group headquarters?
What is interesting about the UK corporate tax system is that most of the rules that make the UK attractive as an international centre for those activities that you describe actually have come to us as a matter of EU law. They come because the European Court of Justice has issued rulings in the area of things such as transfer pricing, controlled foreign companies, thin capitalisation, group relief, use of losses, and so on. Now, all of those have, of course, been enacted into UK domestic law so that in the short term they will continue to apply. That is on the UK side. On the other hand, in the remaining 27 states, the question as to whether UK businesses will benefit from equal treatment is very much open to question. They will obviously not be entitled to the fundamental freedoms after the UK leaves the EU, and therefore the potential for discriminatory treatment against them is certainly there. The other issue that will come up will be the absence of the direct tax secondary legislation in the EU, such as the Parent Subsidiary Directive, the Interest and Royalties Directive, and the Merger Directive. What one might see is that payments such as dividends, interest and royalties from subsidiaries in other member states to UK parent companies will start to attract positive rates of withholding tax. And that, of course, will make tax treaties really important. There are some countries, important commercial ones such as Italy and Germany, where there will actually be those rates of tax as a result of it.
Are you expecting changes to the UK corporate tax system soon?
Well, that really depends on the ability of the government, obviously, to carry out its plans. In the short term, that doesn't seem very likely. So what it will look like, I think, is a matter of speculation at this stage.
Which subjects now are most controversial in the UK corporate tax system?
There are a number of issues that are attracting attention in the cross-border area. So we saw a few years ago the introduction of the diverted profits tax in order to deal with the type of structures that multinational companies have been adopting. Disputes in relation to those have been bubbling up, and I think that that is an area that is causing friction at the moment. The new one, which is in a similar area, is the so-called tax on offshore receipts in relation to intangible property. This is a new tax which applies to payments which involve any transaction that involves intangibles where goods or services are supplied in the UK or to UK people. Its scope is very uncertain and very wide, and for companies in the international sector, this again is probably their main area of concern at the moment.
Certainly a lot of issues to keep an eye on then.
There certainly are.
Jonathan Schwartz, thank you so much for talking to us.
Thank you.